Evening all, and welcome to episode 53 of Kerbalism. I am here in the VAB with this lovely little vessel here, the water miner, and the reason I've got this is because there's been a slight change of plan. After some of the comments on the previous video and thinking it through a lot, putting an actual base on the moon to mine, refine and process water into liquid fuel and oxidizer, although a wonderful idea, isn't really viable for two reasons. One, nighttime on the moon lasts weeks because the moon is tidally locked with Kerbal. When it goes past, when the dark side turns, when it turns away from the sun, it stays there until it's done half an orbit. So for half a month, it's nighttime, and generating power via fuel cells like that is just not really viable. So I want to put the refinery in orbit because that allows you to have more power. It's in the sun much more often and it works better. Second reason as well for being in orbit is it allows you to dock with it a lot easier. You haven't got to spend the fuel fighting the gravity of the planet, or moon in this case, to land. Also, if I've got a very big ship, actually landing it's not going to be possible. So I'd have to send ships up and down to it. So that's why I've got this. This is going to be the little pod that goes down to the moon, drills into it and extracts water from it, by these little drills here. It's going to take a long time. I haven't put the big drills on there because they're heavy, very, very heavy, and little engine is not really viable to do. But yeah, I put 3 of these on here, and it's going to fill up its container there full of water, fill up to the refinery, and the refinery will do the rest of the job. And this is the refinery. This is obviously based on our standard station design. It's got the same sort of solar array, and I'm using the welded parts here. I've got obviously the batteries there. I've got the fuel tanks down the bottom. We've got a fuel tank, 2 fuel tanks here in fact, which are liquid hydrogen, because basically you've got to break the water down to hydrogen oxygen and do things, and yeah, that's what it is. But I've got 2 refinery setups here, using the little tiny ISRUs, designed to, each one of these can take water and produce liquid fuel and oxygen from it. So, liquid fuel and oxidizer. So I've got 2 of them going there, and hopefully it's going to be enough to keep going. It's a slow process, very slow process, so it's going to take a lot of time to do, but it can be running pretty much forever, I think. Have got to keep an eye on it because it uses resources even when it's full. So if the fuel tanks were full down here, it would still be taking the water and converting it into basically nothing. So gotta keep an eye on that. Got a bit of food up here as well because obviously this is going to need Kerbals on it because they need to breathe, reduce carbon dioxide. Goes into that tank there. Yeah. This version of it is the docked version. It's the one that I'm going to send up in pieces because I can't send it in one go. And as you can see, it's got docking ports here and here, and I think one down the bottom here as well. So I can send it up in pieces and put it together. Once it's up in orbit of Mimbus and all together, I will be swapping it out for this version, which is 10 parts less. I could probably get it even lower than that if I weld some other things together, but yes, this is just the welded version. It's exactly the same, just obviously everything's welded together rather than using docking ports. Although 54 part count or 44 part count isn't too bad, so I might not worry about it straight away, but I do have another version to swap over if we need to. And I should probably do that straight away so all the food and everything's all level, but anyway, that's here and all there. I still am going to do the space tanker thing, because obviously once this is filled up and has got all its fuel ready, I'm going to ship that back to Kinesia Station because it's easier to just jump up into orbit, dock with that station and refuel to go wherever we want to, so rather than have to take a trip to the moon. So yeah, that's all the plan. So I will now launch this and the miner. I have got a little tugboat as well, but first I may have to do a few more contracts. Money is an issue once again. It's always an issue really, but so I think I need to do a few more missions just to get the coffers filled a bit. But also these need Kerbals, and Kerbals need rescuing because they're forever getting stranded. So I think a double whammy there. We shall rescue some Kerbals and have a quick look, see what missions we have here. We ironically don't have any missions to rescue anybody. There were 2 missions in here previously to rescue somebody from Minimus and somebody from Orbit of Kerbal, so I've missed them, I'm guessing. But yeah, I've got 572. The station in total costs 280,000, I think, plus the launches. So yeah, it's gonna be a fair bit to get it all going in one go, but doable, just expensive. So in the absence of any rescue missions, I decided to take a few more temperature survey ones for Kerbal and basically flew around for a bit and picked them up. They're a recurring mission that is fairly easy to do, doesn't cost a great deal because you can do it with a jet plane, and it's easy money but very repetitive. So I try not to do too many of them just to keep the variety going. But now that money is safely in the bank, we've got 2 launches here of our Orbital Refinery. The main core and the arms had to go up separately because it was just too much for one load at the moment. If I unlock some bigger engines, then I can do larger launches, but for now, 2 launches to do it. And once these 2 are all up in orbit and ready, we can assemble them and take it from there. So, after going around a few times, I have the station core and all the arms in orbit around Kerbal. I thought I'd assemble it here and then use what's left of that booster there, and maybe a little bit of this fuel as well, to get over to the moon, rather than take them both to the moon, mainly because this one sort of run out of fuel. So yeah, easy to do here. So all I need to do is assemble them, which is a bit easier said than done. I can't remember whether this has a probe core on it. Let's deploy that so I don't forget that later. And let's detach this and find out what happens, shall we? Decouple. And yes, this stage still has a probe. Oh, of course it does. Probe core there. There it is. So yes, of course. Excellent. That means we can use our little tug to go over and pick up one of these. So, identify that. Let's go around to there and fire forward. These have got the little seats on top. These are the new tugs that I've designed. They've got seats on top for an engineer to sit, and a box here. Nothing in there at the moment, but nope. Obviously, we'd have to have a Kerbal's house on top. But the idea being that they can go and park these somewhere, and they've got access to all their tools and bits and pieces. Nice and easy. It's just right there. So yeah, nice and simple. Yeah, we'll just grab the I think I actually want to grab the solar array first, really. Got plenty of power in it, but I think that's the sort of one that would be better to grab first. And then the idea being that I will try and dock this whole stage to the other ships, transfer the fuel over. That seems like a good idea. Well, I don't know if it's a good idea or not, to be honest with you, but I will find out. Okay. Gently does it. Oh, turn off the RCS and turn off the SES, and there we are. We have batteries. So let's steal this one here. Apparently there's no power in this section. Oh no, there isn't. Oh dear. Oh, that's going to cause a problem. Oh well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So now, where do I want to put this? Well, let's bonk into that and head over that way first, shall we? Because that's the way we want to be going. I think with the station I was putting the solar panel and farm on the front being this hatch here, so I want to be aiming for that hatch there. So over we go, and yeah, I will attach all of these arms here, and unless anything seriously terrifying happens, I'll be right back when she's in one piece. And there you have it. Our moon orbital refinery is on its way to the moon. It's going to reach it in about a day's time, and hopefully I've got enough fuel left to stop. Otherwise, it's going off into oblivion and not coming back. But there are no Kerbals on board at the moment. It's all automated, so yeah. It's all put together. I'm going to put it in orbit at the moon, and once it's in orbit, I'll then swap it out for the other welding model. So, yeah, all in all, this is good. We have our liquid fuel still down here. I hope that's enough. 550 meters. I don't know if that's enough to capture us or not, but well, we'll find out once we get there. However, we do need to send the crew up as well. They need to come up in the miner, little tiny miner. So I think whilst they're on their way, I will send the crew up. They can rendezvous with them at the moon, and hopefully very soon we shall be mining for resources and getting fuel for free. We also need to send up the lower part. I think I'll do that with the crew. So here we are at the moon with our miner. And we've actually managed to get here before the refinery. That's going to be crossing into the moon's sphere of influence very soon. But I'm not sure how I managed to just... I don't ever quite understand how that works, how you can launch a craft second and it can arrive first. I'm guessing this had a better trajectory coming out here. I don't know really, but anyway, it's here first, and there we are. Our miner is our refinery is also now in the sphere of influence. So all we have to do is slow ourselves down and be captured by the moon's gravity. So I think 20 kilometer orbit is pretty good. I think it would be better if it was actually 20 kilometer sort of round, 26. Oh, that looks good. Right. And I'm hoping I can do this maneuver and then go and do the refineries one. I think the refinery is going to take longer to slow down because it's much heavier. These tanks are empty. Although I did forget to empty these of hydrogen, so we're slightly full there. But we've still got this tank here, and obviously all our fuel here. So this is good. This is definitely going to get in orbit. It's just that I hope the refinery... Well, I hope I don't have to start firing back here somewhere, because I'm going to be obviously there by the time this comes up. So let's walk to our next maneuver. And that's our target, shall we? So we know roughly what's going on. They're on slightly different orbits. Minor probe has no battery power left. That's not us. Also, I've got random sort of ships flying around. The bits that come off these. So yeah, I think the engine to this is actually orbiting over. I do try and recover as much as I can. There's so much trash flying around, it's unbelievable. Yeah, I do try and recover what I can, but it's not always possible because I use all the fuel up to get for this. The main stage engines obviously use all the fuel to get to the moon. So yeah, it's not quite possible to always ditch everything back into Kerbal. I suppose it would be if I planned better, but I don't, so there we are. Anyway, let's get this into a stable orbit around the moon. And there we go, 28, 26, that'll do. That'll do. So, now we've got to go over to our refinery and park that in orbit as well. So, we have a 2-minute and 4-second burn, and that's mainly because I've had to limit this engine. Anything over about 3/4, which is 66%, caused it to spin out of control, because this is light and these are not. It would pull, essentially that's what I said, these two are lighter than those two, so I think that's the heaviest part. So yes, it will cause it to sort of spin out of control a little bit, so limit the engine and that allows it to not spin out of control, hopefully, and not die a terrible death. I've got 2 antennas on the back of this. I've got the actual one talking to the KSC and a little relay antenna, because I envisioned this going round the back of the moon. It's not, but I envisioned it going around the back of the moon where I need to do a manoeuvre and having no contact with Kerbal and flying off into infinity, and generally bad things happened. But it didn't. Luckily our manoeuvre's here, so we're okay for that. But it can still have communication with all the other little satellites around the outside. Anyway, you see that pulls off to one side straight away. But yep, luckily the SES can hold it sort of just about. Probably want to rotate this round. I think about it. Oh dear, oh dear. Let's rotate it round. Yes, I'm missing my burn maneuver, but it's not too bad so long as I get roughly where I want to go. I want to be in kind of a 50k orbit. It's pulling off all over the place. Look at this, look. Let's point it retrograde, shall we? And just have it slow down there. And it's not having that either. Wow. It's yes, that engine is pulling us all over the place, so let's just try and get into some form of orbit and hopefully not die, crash or burn in the process. This is definitely the heaviest part. It's pulling itself all over the place. So yeah. But we'll get there. We will eventually get there. So there we are, burn complete in entirely the wrong sort of directions, and we are 22 and 40, 42, which isn't exactly what I wanted. We are much more equatorial than the other one, which is kind of good. I know our base here is where some good ore is, but generally our little lander could land anywhere, fill up on water and come back up again. It's just purely for water so far, this one. I had to send a different operation for doing ore, but I'm still figuring something out with that, but I'm not really sure what's what with it at the moment. So I'm going to get this into some form of circular orbit, hopefully, and we can then swap this out for the other version of it and start making us some fuel. And here we are with the welded version of the station replacing the old one. You will notice there's a slight change right here with these things. When I welded the 3 tiny converters into one pod using the roll mod, in the VAB they worked. I could right click on them, I could activate each thing individually and it was fine. It wasn't until I actually got all the way out here that I then right-clicked on them and found out I could tell them to start metal refining. That was the only button I had. I didn't have this one down here to do the individual things there. It just wasn't available. So I've had to replace them with this design here with the three of them. I've got the water on top, the liquid fuel on that side, and the oxidizer on that side. So yes, they're all there. There's water process there. So yes, this is everything that's needed apart from the fuel tanks on the bottom, because they are in orbit there. So we've got to get this to our station and dock with it so we can actually complete it. And what I should also do is rename this to Moon Orbital Refinery, except there we are. Okay, I'm also going to have a look at trying to get rid of some of these other things. I believe I saw a mod that gets rid of orbits. There's probably something I've got here that can do it, but I'll have a look into that, because sometimes when you're trying to click things, it's very awkward with so many bits and pieces about. But yeah. Anyway, let's go to our miner and try and bring it over to the station. And there we are. With that final dock, we have completed the station. We've got the fuel at the bottom here now. These are empty. I've managed to save a little bit of fuel in that one there. But I think I'm going to use that to actually drop this down to the moon so it can crash into the moon, because I don't really want it floating around as more space rubbish. But yes, we have basically completed what we needed to do. So I could start this off now, and it should start producing fuel. Let's see here. I want to make sure that, yes, that's disabled, so that will not fill with fuel. Okay, so that one changes water into oxygen and hydrogen. We are currently full on oxygen and full on hydrogen, so we don't need that. That one I cannot remember. I can't remember which one is which. But it doesn't matter, because if we start those two on both tiers, there we are, then what we should see happening is apparently nothing. Why is that? Is anything else filling up? I don't think we have any fuel storage anywhere else. Cross feed is enabled there. No hydrogen is being taken. Electric charge is definitely being taken. Right, so let's start our greenhouse going, shall we? Right. Nitrogen is for the pressure. Oxygen is for keeping Kerbals alive. Carbon dioxide is for being used here. So what am I missing? They both have cross feed enabled. To start that one here, the water electrolysis, and our carbon dioxide is going down. So it's being used somewhere. Ah, there we are. We're now getting liquid fuel. How interesting. something is amiss here, so I shall troubleshoot this and be right back. So I think I've sussed the problem, and it's an annoying one. The saboteur process and the that one both require hydrogen to work. This is liquid hydrogen. It's not the same thing. It's very annoying. I didn't realise that. So yeah. So the reason they were producing liquid fuel there was because when these are running and turning water into hydrogen and oxygen, it's got the hydrogen there, which is being swapped over. So in theory, if I disable those two and then enable these two, we should start getting oxidizer. Yeah, oxidizer. So yeah, that's annoying. Very, very annoying. These obviously have a little tiny internal tank, and they're converting the water. I'm not sure where they're actually getting the water from, to be honest with you, because this doesn't seem like it's going down at all. But they're getting water from somewhere. Maybe from here. I don't know. They're getting water, and they're using the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, or is it? Yes, carbon dioxide, which is that one there. They're using that one, I hope. Although my Kerbal's breathing, making it go up again, I suppose. But yes, that's there. And then these processes are doing their thing to do it. But there's nowhere to store hydrogen here. That's the problem. We've only got liquid hydrogen, which isn't of any use to me at all. So, yeah, I don't really know here. Oxidizer does produce a damn sight quicker than liquid fuel. But, anyway, for the minute, I can just have this station converting seemingly nothing into fuel. I'm really not sure where they're getting that water from. That's not going down. Let's not go water with it. Well, this is interesting. Yeah, it would seem that water electrolysis is not consuming any water, which is extremely confusing. Let it go down. No, it is. There it is. I guess I've got such a big storage of water, you can't really see it when it's in these large tanks. It's taking it evenly. That's what it must be. So, yeah, okay. Right. Let's turn that back on, and it can just consume water. It is very, very slow. Very low amounts of water it actually consumes. And I'm guessing the oxygen... No, sorry, oxidizer. Oxygen is apparently going up, according to the stats here. Which should make sense. Because, obviously, we're producing oxygen and only using it in one place. Yes, the I can't pronounce that word. I don't know what that one is. Anthraquinone process is. I'm absolutely ruining that. But yes, that is the only thing using oxygen, and we've got 2 creating oxygen, so our oxygen should be going up. Which it says there, 0.7, so yes, it's going up. And our carbon dioxide is going up as well, but that number's clearly going down. I don't actually understand what's going on here. That's -1, that's minus... Okay, so... minus means it's going up and positive means it's going down. So we're using oxygen. Okay. You'd think I know that. This resource thing has been in Kerbal Space Program for years. And you'd think I'd understand how to read it now, but I see green bars, and if they start going down, then I know that's bad. But obviously this is running so slowly, it's yeah, taking a long time. So, yes. We need to somehow replace this liquid hydrogen with actual hydrogen. And do something with, I don't know what uses liquid hydrogen. I'm not entirely sure. Some engine somewhere, I'm guessing, uses it, but yes. And also, I need to do something about the relays around the moon, because we've got a few of them at all different orbits doing all different things. Some of them are very close to each other, some are quite far away. They're not covering the whole moon properly now, so keep getting signals drop and come back again. So I might scrap them all and relaunch something, and put them in a... I'm not sure what the best orbit to put them in is, but yeah, we'll put them in some form of orbit and do that. But that's a future thing. For now, I need to figure out how to get hydrogen here, and that's going to be using the K&K system, like this here, and slapping it on somewhere. I'm not really sure where. Oh dear. Right. Shut down that engine. There we are. Now I can't accidentally fire that, because that would be very, very bad. But yeah. So, I suppose this is a success. Yeah, it's a success. All we've got to do now is actually mine some water. However, let's just have to wait until the next time. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you again in the next one. Till then, as always, have fun.